Hi guys, welcome back. So today we'll be taking a look at some of the Hong Kong stocks. Before I begin, remember take a second to give the video a like and subscribe as you greatly help our channel. Without further ado, let's first start off with the Hang Seng Index. So the Hang Seng Index closed below the 15,000 psychological support for the week, which is not a very good sign. We closed at 14,863. So potentially we may fall further, and I'm looking at the 14,000 psychological support level. We did see some support coming at the 16,000, but thereafter we saw a huge sell-off towards the 15,000 mark. So looking back in time, you can see that 16,000 was in fact a key support to hold. Unfortunately, the market sellers was too dominant, and the buyers were unable to hold the prices up. That said, as you can see, if the 14,000 psychological support do not hold, it's likely for us to come back to even potentially testing the 10 or even the $11,000 mark. So we have to hold this 14,000 support level. That said, key resistance to watch, it will be this blue conversion line. You can see that this blue conversion line acted as a very strong support for many occasions. And this blue conversion line currently is around 15.8K. While this red baseline is 16.4K. So long as we are unable to cross these two resistance, then it's likely for us to continue remaining very bearish. Moving on to the Hang Seng Tech Index. So you can see the Hang Seng Tech Index, not much of a change. We are looking towards below the 3,000 psychological support, and we are looking at 2,800. As of now, there is not much of a historical data for us, so it's likely for us to continue selling further until we see a potential rebound. Resistance will be 3032 and 3214. Moving on to Tencent. So for Tencent, it gave up two of its potential supports. The first support was in fact around the 250 levels, which was the previous low here. And even the 220 support did not hold, which was also this previous resistance. So where exactly is the next support that we're looking at? Looking at its Fibonacci from its all-time low of below $1 and all-time high of 775, we can see that this 296 at 38.2% was in fact a critical support back then in March. We saw a rebound all the way to around $400, and then we pull back down further. So I'm looking towards this 23.6% at 183. This is a very critical support that Tencent must bounce off next week in the event that we continue to see a sell-off. The two resistance to watch will be this blue conversion line, and this blue conversion line is currently around 228. And the next baseline, which is the next resistance, would be around 245. Next up, we have Alibaba. So you can see that Alibaba very much had a new low, and we are around the 61.75 level for the week. So it's likely for us to continue falling further. We don't have historical data, but potentially we may be falling to 55 levels where potentially buyers may come back into the game. Resistance would be 68 and 72. Next up, we have Meituan. So Meituan is potentially strong and resilient. You can see that after breaking the 130, the next support essentially is the 103.5 support. So if we were to retest that back next week, then potentially we may see a double bottom from here. If not, we're likely to break down the $100 support level. Resistance will be 134 and 146. Moving on to NetEase. So you can see that NetEase, once again, don't have any historical data. We are falling further, so I'll just talk about the resistance. Resistance will be 98 and also 106 levels. So next up, we have NIO. So you can see that NIO is very bearish for now. We are already very much hugging this blue conversion line all the way down. In fact, we saw a rebound about 2 to 3 days ago, and clearly you can see that this blue conversion line acted as a very strong resistance on these two particular days, on Wednesday and Thursday itself. So this will continue to act as a strong resistance at 85, and the red baseline is the next resistance at 109. Not forgetting, if you were to drift down further to 50 or even potentially $60, you can see that even if we do rebound, this previous support here will turn into a very strong resistance, and we may potentially slide back down further unless we are able to clear this $100 psychological resistance. Moving on to JD.com on 9618. So similar situation. We need to look at the US market to look at the historical data. Resistance would be this blue conversion line at around 160 resistance, and also this $177 resistance. Not forgetting, even if we do bounce up, you can see that this particular day here, we hit this particular high, and this particular high was around 164 levels. So this previous support has now turned into a resistance. And we can see that JD potentially may continue to strike down further to 130 or even 120 levels. Next up, we have Baidu on 9888. So Baidu resistance would be this blue conversion line. This would be the first resistance at 88. Second resistance would be the $100 or around the $99. Similar situation, previous support may turn into resistance and we can potentially come back down further. Next up, we have AIA. So you can see the AIA did not hold the previous support at $60. This was a critical support that AIA have to hold. And we did not hold, and we closed the week at 57.95. So where exactly is the next support that we're looking at? So looking at the Fibonacci support from all the all-time low to all-time high. All-time low was around $19. All-time high was 109 levels. So we are looking at a potential rebound at the 8.2% at $54. This seems to be quite promising. And hopefully we do see buyers stepping back at around the $54 mark. As for the resistance, it will be the blue conversion line and the red baseline, and it's pretty close to each other, 63 and $64. Moving on to 2318 or Ping An. So for Ping An, you can see that it's very bearish on the charts, and we're already potentially testing the next key support at the $30 psychological support level, which is a key support level. That said, we may potentially see some stop hunting below the this psychological support level. And if we look back on the Fibonacci levels, you can see that the all-time low was around $4 and the all-time high went up to a high of around 103 levels. So from a low of $44 to a high of 103 levels, we are potentially looking at the 23.6% at the 28.10 level. So this is a potential stop hunting area where most retail investors may put their stop losses just below $28 to $29. As for the resistance to watch, it will be this blue conversion line at around 35 and the red baseline at 37. Lastly, we have Xiaomi Corporation or 1810. So you can see that 1810 already tested once this 828, which was the all-time low, and also this twice. Unfortunately, this blue conversion line and the red baseline acted as a very strong resistance for 1810. So the resistance to watch will be around 890 and also 910. In the event that we cannot break out these two resistance next week, it's likely for us to create a new low, potentially putting the $8 support level, given a lot of support level pressure at the $8 psychological support. So overall, you can see that the overall charts on the Hang Seng Index and its respective constituents is very bearish. So hopefully, this 14,000 psychological support must hold next week. In the event that we do not hold it, then unfortunately we may turn very bearish and potentially heading towards 10 or 11,000. So if there's any changes, I'll give you guys an update. Thanks for stopping by. Till we meet again, appreciate the manipulation.